Yo, what is up people? Fer here, and today we're going to be talking about Kaido's calamities and how capable I think zone devil fruits are. Now this is a topic I've been holding back for a while now, mainly because we didn't really have much information about the calamities. Even now there's little to no information about these guys except Jack and Kaido. But there's a theme that is very prevalent in this arc, and now that we're in Wano, I think this is the best time to do a discussion surrounding his crew and how much potential Zoans could have. I think I have an idea on what we're going to be seeing with these guys moving forward in terms of race and devil fruit ability, and obviously more things about them that could have some correlations to Kaido. We know Oda is big on themes. I think some of the things we're seeing right now in this arc may be foreshadowing to what these guys truly are, but on a grander scale. But before we get into this video, like the video and subscribe if you're new here. This definitely helps me make more content. Now I think for the most part Zoans have not been shown to be that impressive as certain Parameces and Logias. Actually, the difference between Zoans and the other two classes of devil fruits is incredibly vast in terms of what was shown in the series, by feats and by portrayal. Again, except for the few outliers like the mythical subclass of Zoans. So Zoans overall is not really a fruit that we look upon as strong unless it's mythical like Marco or Sengoku, which is a minority within the Zoan class because these versions of Zoans are harder to find than actual Logias, making them the rarest types of fruits you can find in the One Piece world. Mind you, there's only 2 confirmed mythical Zoans in the series, potentially a third one with Kaido in the previous chapter, and apart from regular abilities you get from Zoans like enhanced speed, enhanced strength, or regeneration, mythicals also come with an extra set of powers which can make them stand on equal grounds with the likes of Logias and exceptionally strong Parameces. We saw that Marco can literally regenerate from any wounds, and we saw that Sengoku Zoan has the ability to produce shockwaves that was more or less on equal terms as the Guru. Now in the case of regular and ancients, there isn't really much you can say about them except for the fact that you gain traits of set animal, which was showcased with Smile Devil Fruits as well earlier in this arc, whereas each of them had their own specialty. For example, Speed's vision had the ability to see 350 degrees. There was also a Gazelle Man who was really fast, but apart from what I listed before, there's little to no versatility for zone users. They're usually specialized in one category because they lack versatility. They focus more on traits that they are specialized in. And you guys know how I feel about versatility. I think versatility in One Piece is one of the biggest assets one could have in terms of combat ability. In combination with creativity, it's easier for you to find ways around things, and matchups matter less. Take a look at Katakuri, take a look at Doflamingo, and take a look at Luffy. But there's obviously something about Zoans we don't know yet. We haven't seen the full extent of what Zoans are truly capable of, and I think we're gonna see this with the Calamities and Kaido, and possibly with X-Drake as well. The fact that we have a Yonko's crew that consists of Zoans means that there's something more to them, given the fact that these guys could hold their own just as good as any other Yonko's crew, even though some of these crews have insane Parameces and Logia devil fruits. And maybe this is one of the reasons X-Drake joined Kaido. Maybe this was to learn to control his own devil fruit, given as Kaido is, I guess, the epitome of what a Zoan user should be. And one of the reasons I think we haven't seen something crazy from Zoans is that we haven't really seen a skilled Zoan user fight. Now we saw Rob Lucci fight, but all he did was go into his hybrid form and use Rokushiki. Now he did show tidbits of his zone power here and there, but it was nothing specific about his fruit. Then we have Marco. Again, Marco is a special case, but even then, Marco didn't really show us much apart from regeneration. I feel like Marineford showed very little of his powers, and that is mainly because he wasn't given enough screen time, and because we haven't seen this man in a 1v1, because Marineford was a war, whereas we only got clashes here and there. If Oda gives Marco the same screen time in a fight as he did with Katakuri, I think Marco would look just as impressive. Hopefully Marco fights Weevil in this arc, and then we can see what he's truly capable of. Now going back to Zoans lacking versatility, apart from the transformation from base to hybrid to full form, they don't really have anything else to learn when it comes to their fruit. And this is why I think Zoans are the easiest to master and control, because they don't train as much as Parameces and Logias, because there isn't too much to do in the first place. And because Zoans don't have much to do, they set their focus on something specific, which brings me to base form. Base form is very important for Zoans because Zoans uses your base and it scales up from there. So the stronger you are in your base form, the stronger you'll be in your transformation. And so for the most part, Zoan users are going to focus more on physicality, more so than individuals with Parameces and Logias, because this is how Zoans become stronger. And this is very evident during Subodi. I can argue that X-Drake was the strongest Supernova in terms of physicality at a base form. I'm sure most of you guys remember, but during Subodi, X-Drake was the only Supernova to physically overpower past pacifista in his base form, and was able to stop 2 supernovas from clashing. Now you guys may say Rouge and Luffy did the same thing, but again, they used their devil fruits to do so. And this is emphasized even more with Kaido and Jack. We know at a base form that these guys are no joke. Jack was shown to fight for days in his base form, and we know Kaido fell from the Sky Island, taking little to no damage. Again, base form is important because it makes their transformation even stronger. And this is why I think Kaido's crew is going to be the strongest in terms of physical power amongst any other Yonko's crew. Obviously, other Yonko's crew are going to compensate for that with their devil fruit ability and haki, but at a base form, I have Kaido and the Calamities being the strongest when it comes to physicality. So I think we're going to see Gear 4 get equaled out in raw power or even overpowered by one of the Calamities, which is going to be crazy because even Katakuri doesn't have the raw power that Gear 4 has. So these guys are going to have an amazing base form, which is then amplified in their zone form, and it only makes sense that these guys would specialize in armament haki, taking their physicality to the next level. Again, I think every Yonko's crew has a person that has an advanced form of haki, and I think that individual is the King Calamity. Obviously, taking attacks from these guys is not exactly the best idea, and this is where observation is going to come in handy. There's a reason Luffy took his observation to the next level before heading into Wano. Now when it comes to the Calamities, I think they're going to be hybrids, and this really goes back to Kaido and Jack and the overall theme we're getting with the Beast Pirates, whereas we're getting mixtures of different animals in one body. Not just for Smile users, but some of the creatures on the islands have shown similar traits. And so with Jack, we know that he's a hybrid. He's half human, half fishman, which is why he's able to survive on the water even though he's a devil fruit user. I think we're going to get something very similar with the other Calamities. So maybe the King Calamity is half giant, half human, or half mink, half, giant, some weird combination, which is going to make them special at a base form, which is then amplified during transformation. And this really brings me back to Smiles. Now we know Smiles are sort of a fake version of Zone devil fruits. Now while they do grant the user the ability of an animal, it doesn't work in the same way as regular zones. Smile devil fruits doesn't merge the user with the fruit. It makes it in a way that the user is part animal, part human, sort of like a chimera. Whereas actual zone fruits gives the user the ability to transform into an animal as a whole. Now Law did mention that Smiles have some sort of drawback, which could be related to the fact that some Smile users cannot control their beast. Now something that could be game changing when it comes to Smiles is that you can actually eat multiple of them, probably due to the fact that it's not soul related like devil fruits, but more so DNA related. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have someone in Kaido's crew who's actually eating multiple Smile fruits, and that in return would make him into some sort of chimera. But in terms of what I think the other Calamities are going to have, we know Jack has a mammoth. I think we're going to see one more ancient with the Queen Calamity. Now I made a theory almost a year ago that one of them could have a Scorpion Zoan, because when you go back in time when Jack was getting rescued from Zou, the ships that came for him had scorpions on it. I think we're definitely going to see a Scorpion Zoan in Wano, but it might not necessarily be from one of the Calamities. It might be a lower ranking member or the Daifuku oven counterparts of Kaido's crew. And then I think the King Calamity is going to have a mythical. First mates are always special. It's only fair that the right hand of Kaido should have a mythical devil fruit. And talking about Kaido, obviously with the awesome reveal we got in the last chapter, I think the majority of the community is leaning towards the idea of Kaido having a dragon devil fruit. But honestly, it could be something else. Maybe he has the ability to morph into several beasts, hence the name 100 Beast Kaido. Till we get confirmation, we don't exactly know yet. But personally, I'm leaning towards a dragon devil fruit as of right now. And when it comes to the Shogun, I was also of the mindset that he was going to have a devil fruit as well. Now they call him Orochi, which is a mythical dragon in Japanese lore. But since Kaido has something that is akin to that, I'm starting to think otherwise. He might have a dragon as well, but a different model from Kaido's version, because I always go back to the symbolism between the dragon and the tiger. Given that one of Zoro's biggest fight in this arc will be against the Shogun of Wano, I assumed that he was going to have a dragon. But at this point, it might just be that the Shogun's fighting style is symbolic of that of a dragon. But we'll see how that plays out. But I'm really excited for Wano, especially when it comes to Kaido and his Calamities. Learning more information about them is going to be dope moving forward, because this is the only crew that we honestly don't know much about apart from Shanks' crew. And even then, these are the last two set of commanders that we're going to see. We've seen all Yonko commanders in every crew except these two guys. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Comment down below what you guys think. How do you guys feel about the Calamities, and how do you guys feel about Zoans overall? Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified for future content. It is Pharaoh, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.